Hi, Daniel.
Hey.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, man.
Why did you choose me to be your partner for the Tête-à-Tête series?
You know, I've had the privilege of working with so many people over the last 25 years that I think there's people who come into the classroom or rehearsals and you share, and you have the ability to build more than just a rehearsal relationship with. And so I really was like, who could I talk to who knows something about me, who I felt I could build a relationship with, not just, from parts you see on a board, but somebody you've gotten a chance to share your ups and downs with and be there for them. And so that's why I was like, I think this would just be fun. And I feel like we know each other beyond what we're scheduled to.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I did that.
Well, thank you, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man. Hope I don't hit that microphone.
Oh, no, not again.
How and where did you start dancing?
So I started because of my sister. Before I danced, I was a martial artist. I was a gymnast. I was convinced, I always tell people I wanted to be the next Ninja Turtle. And so while they didn't make karate movies and, gymnastics was something that I liked, but I couldn't see myself doing it, like really going far. So my sister had done ballet, and I had gone through the tap and jazz kind of element of that. I liked the performative nature of it and feeling like I was entertaining people. But then I had the right teacher who dangled the carrot and was like, I'm gonna teach you a double tour and a cease first, and if you can get those and you wanna do them better, I go back and do the basics. Class was in a backwards baseball cap, a hoodie sweatshirt, and just made it really accessible.
Oh, I love that.
This was all pre-internet, pre-phones and everything. So I think it was about how do you hook somebody's attention just in the room instead of trying to use some other kind of gimmick or, some other kind of bribe. It was just like, hey, everyone could do this. So why don't we do it this way? Yeah. And not let a uniform get in the way of you trying something that physically I really was drawn to. I mean, like jumping was like a cool sensation. Not knowing how to shape it was a different
Your
thing.
jump has always been the most explosive, exciting thing to watch. I grew up watching that jump. My jaw dropping. Yeah, you're nodding because it's unbelievable, Daniel. You're an inspiration to so many people in this company, and your dancing is inspiring. It's dynamic. It's emotional, and on top of that, you're kind. You're humble, and I'm just excited to be here talking to you, and I just wanted to reiterate that.
No, I so appreciate that. I mean, I think everyone has an innate gift, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I call a sensation. Something that naturally comes. Somebody's a turner, they're a great turner. Somebody's a partner, they're a partner, jumper and jump. And so I think you're lucky if you can identify what is your natural sensation as a dancer, and then be able to kind of like build from there. Because there's a lot that we try to teach in dance, right? Or that we see. But there's a lot that's natural that comes to somebody. And the question is, how do we kind of pull that out further and then be lucky enough to have people who don't give up on us and try to just kind of pull that. So for me, I was very fortunate. I had somebody who taught me how to love dance, and I had somebody who taught me how to dance.
Yeah.
And that combination was like massive. And then I got to move to New York, and I saw that, wow, there's other guys who do it.
Yeah.
That was huge for me. There was like 25 other guys who were doing tours and cabrioles and everything that I saw on a VHS, mind you, not on YouTube, right? And so I was just like, how's this possible?
Yeah.
And then I was just around that, and I felt I could then push myself further. But enough about me.
I just want to say I grew up in the school watching you, not just from the audience, but also backstage. And that was something that inspired me, just like you were saying, there were 25 other guys in your class. I had real-life superheroes in full costume and makeup, and I had no idea at like 9 or 10 years old that could be a potential profession. And watching you as a 9-year-old, I saw you do interplay and do those 4 double tours, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th position. I didn't know I could do that until I saw someone like you or other dancers in the company. But I also wanted to touch on, you were saying that you had teachers that really encouraged you, and I've taken your class, and you're passing on that tradition of making sure that people feel seen, heard, comfortable, and you're getting in touch with something more than just their technique. You're helping them find their artistry for themselves. And you're not just putting it on them. You're really good at communicating in a way that's so friendly and so loving to your students. It makes it really possible to become your best dancer. So congratulations on your teaching technique. I know it's been in like
Hasn't
it been in Dance Magazine?
Oh, no,
There's a cover of you.
I don't think it's for teaching. I don't think it's for teaching. It's like Most Wanted. No, but it's funny. You also get on one other thing though. Another reason why I felt so compelled to do this is because I was very fortunate in my career to be able to share the stage with a dancer who I say followed back then, which was like I read about in Dance Magazine or whatever. And one of the unique things about this profession is I remember when you did Prince in the Nutcracker, and I was on stage, and then I see you in the company, and I can't tell you what it's like as a dancer to see somebody. You have to understand, it's a miracle that anyone does this profession.
Yeah.
And the fact that I got to see you climb from a kid's role into the workshop, and a workshop role into the company, and so, yeah, but
Crawl.
I mean, again, how unique to see that. And so for me, I think as another fun thing that we could connect on, it's just like, God, I've seen this guy grow up in the company and from the school. And so that's really special to see because, most other people, they come in and out and, they transition on and it's really beautiful. But when you get to see somebody, whether it was in class one time or they're just starting their career and then seeing how they continue to develop, it's like one of the most exhilarating things for other dancers. So that's another thing I think is really special. I got to see you from that. I mean, I remember you doing Prince and it was like you ruled the court, into that. And then,
I really thought I was the prince on stage and off stage.
But that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
That's the time to do it because that's where it's alive, right?
Yeah.
Into that position. So, so we talked about you as a student here, like before we started this interview. Tell me how you got started. What's your journey with this?
Both my parents were on Broadway. My dad started when he was 12 years old in Gypsy with Ethel Merman. He was a tap dancer, prodigy. And my mom was in My One and Only. She did 1,000 shows of My One and Only, and she was in Annie. So I had a bit of this musical theater in my blood. My mom was my first teacher when I was 6 years old. You know how she got me to go to the dance class?
How?
There was a Tasty Delight right next door.
Oh,
so she bribed me with a vanilla soft serve with coconut on top. But she made dancing so fun. She would bring a mystery box with props, and she would put on NSYNC or Britney Spears, Silly String, and it made dancing so accessible, and it was an all-boys class. She wanted me to feel like empowered and comfortable around just a bunch of my friends dancing. Then I went into competitive gymnastics, which was something that I was really passionate about, and I really felt like I wanted to go all the way, but actually like a fear complex kicked in around 13 years old. I was doing summer intensives for gymnastics, like some people do for ballet, but at a certain point, when you're swinging around the bar and it's metal and they're asking you to do a back tuck over it, and I just like the survival instinct kicked in where I was just like, I don't want to do this. So my mom brought me to SAB when I was 8 years old. I had no idea where I was, and she gave me a paper bag of clothes, and I looked inside and I said, what is this? And she was like, you're going to audition for the School of American Ballet. And I said, what?
Yeah.
But I did, and I went into the room, the Studio 5, and that's how I started in the school. Knew nothing, I looked at the kid next to me to figure out what first position was. But the school is so good at keeping you interested in ballet, even though it's you have to learn discipline at a young age. I went all the way through that school.
Yeah.
And the fundamental, it's like you learn maybe a new step every month. You practice, you perfect the tendu. You practice and you perfect the dégagé, plie, before you can move on to the next step. And it was addictive to learn that next step, the pas de chat. I remember specifically pas de chat. I was so excited to jump over the barrel. Did you ever hear that? Two knees up, jump over the barrel. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
But that's something interesting because you say, I do think training is a huge thing, but I actually am going to go back one more step, which is gymnastics, a performative quality, your parents, like your DNA.
Yeah.
You're also an entertainer on stage.
Thank you.
It's and I say that it's not to be like, the over the top, but you're engaging. And I think we sometimes as dancers, we want to nail the double pirouette, the heels have to be forward, all the rules of ballet.
Yeah.
But I think we forget that people are watching people. And I think your performances, Harrison, are like, I see somebody invested. And whether it's contemporary or classical or so forth, you lean in when you're on stage. And I think that plays into like all these things that are part of your DNA and your parents and gymnastics. I think they all are combined into your technique, which you've got great training. So then it's like, what do you do with it? Well, Harrison's the dancer, right? And I think every time I see you out there, I see Harrison out there and he's doing these steps. It's not a tendu and Harrison's just like the vessel of that, you know? So I think that's important for people to remember because it's people who dance for people.
Anyone have a tissue?
Oh my God.
Thank you, Daniel. That's so sweet. I don't even know.
To be, to be surrounded by, you know, such great art though, that's what you want as an artist though, right? Because technique is technique. But if you're not inspired, it doesn't inform the work of technique, right? And it's like, I think somebody gave me that piece of advice a long time ago. He said, go see everything possible out there. Go do what you can. Because then you can draw on these experiences. I want to do that as a dancer. I want to do that as a teacher. Imagery is a huge teaching tool and choreographer tool. And somebody can be like, it's like you're walking in the park. Well, you got to walk in the park to understand what that's like.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a rehearsal I coached once, and it's like, the dancer had to do an arabesque. And I said, what's your favorite smell? And they're like, vanilla. I said, vanilla.
Oh, totally.
You know,
I teach that same way.
Whatever the case is, you have to understand, like, this is high art.
Yeah.
But you have to find out how can they, like, it's like a really slow moving car sometimes, and you have to get them on. And once they're on, then they go with you.
Yeah.
And what are the ways of doing that? So wait, we did talk about teaching, but you've gotten into this a little bit. What do you feel as a teacher? You know, you're teaching here, you're subbing at the school, but you've gone through this. I know we've worked together, and I've seen you teach. What do you feel is important for kids to know today, or what do you try to give the students?
Well, I mean, first of all, getting the opportunity to circle all the way back to teaching a student first position when I was learning that in the same bar spot. In my first class teaching at SAB with Katrina Killian.
Do you have like a plaque there?
Shadowing.
Like here stood Harrison Coll?
No, probably like some of my dried tears and sweat. But I remember going up to him and just looking up and being like, heel forward. Yeah, just like me. My eyes were at the bar level, so I either had to go like this or to go like this. I still have repercussions of that in my lower back. But yeah, I think it's very different in each level. You know, I'm teaching 6-year-olds to 13 and 14-year-olds. And for the 6-year-olds, I'm learning that like I can be really fun with them. I can make it so entertaining. But what I have to work on is establishing a boundary between fun and work. Because the work is what's going to serve them if they continue all the way through to like pay attention, to respect their classmates, and to try to take home something, remember it at home, and then improve upon it in the next class. If it's an older student, I don't want them to feel very disappointed if they didn't do it exactly, you know, the way the combination was, if they forgot a step or something.
Right.
I like to make sure that they know that it's okay to not be perfect. It's something that I struggled with a lot as a student. I always felt like I was copying the teacher. I was trying, if the teacher demonstrated it a certain way, I was trying to picture perfect copy that, which is
It's a way
to
of
some
learning.
sense,
It's
yeah.
a way of learning. It makes sense.
But I got lost in this like box. And so I get a thrill out of someone seeing that they don't have to just do the step. And I'll say, you can dance now.
Yeah.
You hear the live music over there. It's telling you something, you know? I always like to say rond de jambe is my favorite step because at bar, I feel like it's when you really get to express something. The music changes, you know? It's
It's pretty
it's
steady
a
up to that
waltz,
point.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you can do this big stretch élanger, right? And you feel something. And I always try to encourage that in my students because, like you said, if I feel like I wouldn't be interested in dancing if it didn't make me feel something that I wasn't able to access in the normal reality.
You're giving them technique, but you're trying to teach them how to say something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's like Shakespeare, not everyone's going to read to be or not to be. It's how do you now enunciate that, and how does that come across to you? Everyone, if you asked them on the street, would say it totally differently.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of dance, right?
Yeah.
So it's the frustrating part of dance too, right? It's like, and you're dealing with an instrument that's so unique. My favorite analogy on this is every piano in the world has 88 keys. If my body were a piano, it'd be like 56. Yours would be like 76. Yet we want to play the same sound.
Yeah.
How do you get somebody to understand that? That's the hardest part for me.
Or when there's, multiple dancers on stage,
Yeah.
you create perfect harmony.
Yeah, I mean, well, so you bring up something. What's the most challenging, I could say ballet, but what's the most challenging thing for you to perform?
You know what? I have a lot of difficulty performing a solo. I get so nervous because I feel very exposed. And I'm a dancer that really likes to interact with people on stage, make eye contact. It kind of helps me forget that I'm performing in front of a huge audience. For Justin Peck's Copeland dance episodes, I had to do a solo. And we've been rehearsing it over and over and over again and, surgically picking apart the steps.
Right.
And I get on stage, I forgot, all of a sudden I blanked out on stage. And it never happened to me before in rehearsal studio. And I just remember that moment feeling like 3 hours long. And in reality, it was only like 2 seconds, like a blink. Nobody would have noticed. But then you have to have this huge release afterwards. You can't focus on it because you're on stage.
The show must go on.
Your show must go on. And I remember coming off the stage after that solo and being like, okay, it happens. And just like you said, you just have to keep going. And it was a big learning lesson. And actually, don't get as nervous doing solos now because maybe the worst had happened. I'd forgotten a step. And, I got to go home, eat dinner, go to sleep. It was fine. It's not the end of the world. I think it would be dancing solos, which, I don't know if you can relate because I've seen you dance countless solos. And it's
I don't think I think you always get nervous, because you care. You're nervous because you care.
yeah.
And then from there, it's like, have I done the work to get it to that place?
Yeah.
And so it feels second nature. I think the stakes are high for professionals in general, right? And then, like you said, sometimes you're isolated in these moments, or whether it's a pas de deux or solo. And yes, I mean, there's really no other place for the audience to look. So it is on you.
Right.
And you do feel exposed, especially also if it's something that you feel like you're not typed for, right?
Yeah.
This is an adagio, so Daniel doesn't do it. He does straddle jumps and turns, and so there's this extra, I feel like, layer if you
Are you proving something?
yeah, you're like, this is not what I'm supposed to be seen as, but but there's also a satisfaction in going through that and going it's like an actor who's a comedian who's asked to do drama,
Yeah.
and vice versa, right?
Robin Williams.
Yeah, beautiful example.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that, I think that there's a beauty in that challenge. We're too close to it too. And I think the same moment of you going, I blanked out on stage, I highly doubt the audience was like, I know what comes next. It's not like opera, right? Where there's we know the note's gonna happen, or music. And so I think ballet actually has a little bit more in the present spontaneity, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
That classical music, we hear when a horn goes off, or you hear when a voice cracks, right?
Yeah.
In dance, maybe it's a wobble or a stumble or something, and God, that's the most frustrating thing. You're like, I nailed the turn, and then I go to walk, and you're like, why is this foot crooked?
Or you run into the wing.
Yes.
I stubbed my toe so hard carrying my partner off into the wing last season. But I wanted to talk to you about one aspect of leaving the stage after you've done what you do. Is do you ever think about, what is my choreographer going to think of what I did? What notes am I going to get? Because for me, I feel like I have a people-pleasing complex, and sometimes I'm thinking in their eyes, did I do it right? Because I do believe in the vision. I care about the vision of the artist who's creating it. And it's hard sometimes for me to detach from, did I do it the way they wanted me to do it?
Wow, that's tricky. I mean, I've definitely had shows with living choreographers where, if it went wrong, I was like, okay, dance back, go upstairs.
No, run.
And I was like, that
Dance
wasn't, it wasn't to my standard. Maybe I didn't do something wrong, but I just felt it was below my standard. I remember I had a show, Le Gentilhomme, years ago, and I remember that ballet felt very exposed. And I was very adagio
White
movement,
tights,
and
white
I looked like a light bulb. I swear, it's just gross. And so I remember I went off. We were supposed to do the bows, and we were supposed to do the front curtain page. It was I think maybe we were in DC. And I remember I said, I'm not going in front of the curtain.
Wow.
I did not feel like my performance warranted that. I was really hard on myself.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. I do have this thing, I don't know if you have this. I will go into my dressing room afterwards, and I'll kind of replay it, and I'll okay, that went according to plan, that didn't, or maybe I need to look at that next time. I don't get stuck in it, but it's I do want to review it. I don't want to be that was amazing, never want to improve and be better on it, or you got to hit it again. And I think that's something I'm trying to encourage students today. It's about being consistent. It's not being lucky or not setting up the perfect take on Instagram, right? It's can you be consistent every show you show up to and the audience shows up to? I mean, that's who we're doing it for, right? And the mediums are great and the accessibility is great, but we want to take the audience to a place. And it means they could be there for that show where you said you had like your hiccup. Like I was at that show. No, I didn't notice.
You were-
Harrison
you were
wasn't
dancing,
there.
yeah.
You know, but like it was just like because we were there, we were invested in you. And that kind of goes back. If you weren't being engaging, Harrison, then we would have no choice but to disengage as an audience member.
Was there a time where you felt like you needed to wait backstage after the curtain closed and the lights come back on? You had to wait for your rep director or the choreographer right then, right after the show? Or did you feel like, okay, like I know what I did. I know what I did wrong. I can just go to my dressing room.
I think
Because some dancers feel like they have to.
I think out of courtesy and respect, I always want to acknowledge, you know, especially I'll use, you know, Alexei with something or like maybe working with somebody else like Twyla or something like that. Like these are people who they've invested so much in me, and I want to then, out of respect, go, hey, was this close to what you were looking for?
Yeah.
And you know, you also set yourself up though, because
Yeah.
it's also like, oh, I could have just wanted to go home tonight, you know? And then it's like, next time this, next time that. But because, you know, it's like that, I think it's that Cunningham quote. It's like, it's only live in that moment. And so why not try to better it or be consistent with it? And I remember with Solitude, actually, the second time, I did it twice in the season. And I remember I kind of got off stage the second one, and Alexei was like, this one was stronger. This one was stronger. And I didn't know if I felt like that immediately or not. But he actually nudged me towards being like, okay, maybe it was.
Yeah.
And again, I was just like hyper analyzing that kind of stuff. So it was hard.
It's exciting.
But if it's in our repertory, I want to also be in touch, right? I want to validate, like I felt okay, and they acknowledged it's okay. I'm gonna have to go to work the same way, whether it was a great show or if it wasn't the next day, and do the same bar and do the whole thing. So, I mean, I think that's just finding the balance of being self-aware and ambitious still, and going, I can do this another day. What more can I bring to it? And I think that's what it is. I think it's a trap if you rest on your laurels. I mean, because then you set up having to hit consistency. I think that's sort of the pressure part of the profession that kind of catches up to people. And, you know, Billie Jean.
Especially when you're doing a 6-week season.
Yeah. It's
And a 5 weeks rehearsal period on top of that, like the demands on
it's a
the
lot.
body. If you could ask George Balanchine, Jerome Robbins, Igor Stravinsky, or Karinska one question, what would it be?
I would ask George Balanchine and Robbins, are we doing it okay? Are we doing it okay still?
Yeah, wow.
We are so fortunate to have the people who have worked alongside them, under them, these choreographers, excuse me, and these rep directors. And it's, you know, we're trying to recreate something that was really beautiful in someone's head, actually. It started out in someone's head and then went on the first generation of dancers. And when you read a lot of these books and research, and I kind of go down these rabbit holes, and I want to know who created the role I was maybe dancing in, or what was the inspiration behind it. And I can't ask the choreographer, right? I can't ask Robbins and Balanchine and some of these other prolific choreographers of our time. And I just would want to know, like, is it okay? Like, would you be happy today?
Yeah.
And to know that it changed. I was doing a little research for the university project that we do, right? And I found videos of Tchaikovsky Parada danced by 4 different dancers, and I had 4 different versions. And so I always wonder, like, you know, if Balanchine were still alive, would he have made a new version of Tarantella
For the dancer who's
dancer?
watching.
And you know,
Oh,
we
yeah.
always try to guess what would be most appropriate in that, and you know, and would he want to go, no, you know, that costume's so old now, and let me update it, you know? And
I mean, Apollo. I
many
know
of the
that
stories
costume changed many times.
Exactly. So to me, I think as the dancer, I'd want to know, like, would you be happy with this? Like, would Jerry be happy with, like, when we do Fancy together, you know? Would Balanchine be happy with Tarantella, or go, yeah, you could work on that moment, or like, you know, am I doing too much? Am I doing enough? Is the music not fast enough?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever the case is, I'm curious about that. But I'm going to flip the tables.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to ask you the same
Same question. Oh, man. I guess I would want to know for each of them individually. Like, I would ask George Balanchine, what's it like to work with Jerome Robbins? Or I'd ask Jerome Robbins, like, what influence do you think George Balanchine has had on your movement quality? Or I'd ask Igor Stravinsky, do you feel like George Balanchine does a good job of interpreting your music? Or does he surprise you with how he's transcribed physically?
Yeah.
your music. Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about business. Let's talk a little bit about pleasure.
There.
I'm going to start with this. Do you have any favorite quotes or song lyrics?
You know what I've been listening to a lot recently is Blue Skies Smiling at Me.
Like Louis Armstrong? Like recording or?
Like Bing Crosby.
Oh, okay.
And just in this past summer, I feel like I've been able to just appreciate the simpler things in life and get outside a lot more and just think about how lucky we are to do what we do, but also that there's a life outside of what we do every day. And
Yeah.
do you have any irrational fears or particular pet peeves?
Oh. Okay, I do have one. My biggest pet peeve, I'm a busy person. I like to be busy. My biggest pet peeve, though, is when I see people want to be busy and then they complain about being too busy.
Oh,
I don't like it when they sign themselves up and they want a pity party.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that. If you sign yourself up, you're saying
Commit.
you commit and at least go through the commitment. I'm not saying somebody has to be busy. I'm just using that as an example. But it's like kind of to your point. It's just like, what would I be doing otherwise?
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm saying yes to this project because that's using my brain this way, or I'm teaching that way, or I'm curating something that way, or I'm dancing that way. And it's like, we do have this small window of time compared to many other fields. And I want to say yes to them, but I don't want to say yes and then have, people feel bad for me.
Yeah.
I want to say yes because they're ultimately decisions I get to author and be a part of. So I just don't like sometimes we create this enthusiasm and then I think we maybe underestimate maybe how much. And it's knowing how to say yes and no. And I'm learning that, by the way, still. I'm learning that being busy doesn't mean it's about being important, right? You can be, as I gotten older, I've, started to be a little more selective and maybe I can't do that
Can't do
project.
everything, yeah.
Can't, and I'll go, but I know the person who might be able to help you. I realize I can actually help
Delegating.
and delegate that or maybe present that opportunity to somebody else.
You're sharing.
And that is a way of being there, but also not putting maybe 100% of the burden on me and going, that person's the right person for that job and we'll take that to the next level. So that's something I'm kind of learning.
This is just an aside, but when someone gets off the subway or someone is trying to get on the subway at the same time people are getting off the subway, the people that are getting on,
Yield to them.
it just drives me crazy.
Yeah. Another one, blinkers. People don't use their blinkers in Manhattan.
They don't.
I don't like drivers who don't use
No.
blinkers to go
Do you
in.
drive in Manhattan?
Yeah, I do.
You have a car?
It's a late addition
Whoa.
here.
Or when you're not ready with your bagel order at the counter. Like if you gotta be ready. I've been in this line for 25
Yeah,
minutes.
this is very
Like,
Seinfeld.
just let's go.
This is very Seinfeld.
Okay.
Okay, so, but we talked about, do you have a hobby or interest of yours that would surprise people?
Surprise people.
You
I
still
like-
do music?
I like longboarding. I like
Okay.
surfing. I do music. I play guitar. I like to act. I like to hike. Trying to think of my food is a hobby of mine. I love cooking, and I can't afford every single expensive restaurant in New York City, so I like to try to recreate and reimagine the affordable version of some of the meals I'd like to eat, or the restaurants I like to go to.
Yeah, that's good. I
think
remember
so.
a musician for a while. I know
Yeah.
you all, we used to
We used to
out.
jam. We did
used to
have a
jam
band
out.
there for a
We
little bit.
did.
Right? Do you still play piano?
I have an upright. I don't play it nearly as much,
Okay.
but we remember it was guitar, cajon, piano.
I think that
recorded
was
that.
the height of my musical career. We were taking it very serious. We had
That was
Josh
very low
Blue.
for a very
Yeah.
for the height, my friend.
No, I know.
Yeah, but that was fun.
It was fun.
That was fun.
Let's get back to it.
I like that.
I actually brought my. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! If you had like a uke.
No,
you
no,
could-
no.
okay. Well, how do you relax?
I think spending time with my family. Yeah, spending time with my family and friends to just decompress, get outside of. There's a lot of stress involved in New York City.
Yeah.
Living here my whole life,
That's
I've
true.
definitely gotten used to it. But like I said, if someone tries to get on the subway while I'm trying to get off, it'll set me off, and I need to go bowling with my friends.
Yeah.
I think bowling is a good one. Have you ever gone bowling at the Gutter in Lower East Side?
No, I haven't gone to the gutter.
It's so fun.
I haven't gone bowling in a
We'll
long
go.
time.
Let's
I
go
like
after
bowling.
this.
I would love to.
Okay.
Game on.
If you had a motto, what would it be? This is gonna be good.
A motto.
A motto.
Oh man, I have teaching mottos, like
Yeah.
like notes that I use. But a motto. I always used to always say, take my work seriously, don't take me seriously.
Nice.
Because we're humans. We're trying to do superhuman things,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, so almost like your imagery with getting out of the subway. I mean, someone else is walking to Wall Street. Someone else is walking to Carnegie Hall. Someone else is walking to nursing, whatever.
Yeah.
We're all people on the
Yeah.
street. And I think it's our building and what we do that's really special.
Yeah.
But, 8 million other people are trying to do the same
Exactly,
thing and
yeah.
go there. And I sometimes think there's those mornings where I go to work and it's like you're passing people who are kind of going through their whole
Right.
day and what's going on or their challenge or their triumph and so
Yeah.
forth. I mean, that's the fascinating thing. It's like these
Yeah.
little bubbles above everyone's head. I sometimes
I
think.
saw this image of like a Venn diagram. You have your circle, they have this circle, and you're seeing this little sliver.
100%.
That's what you're seeing.
Yeah.
And it can be easy to judge someone based on your interaction without knowing what they've been through since they woke up in the morning, So I think in our company, we're so familiar with each other's energy that you can misinterpret someone if they didn't say hi to you in the hallway. It's like,
But there's so much more. Yeah, there's so much more to
yeah.
that I think.
You make people laugh in the hallways all the time around the
My
theater.
new thing actually is when the elevator door opens, I'm in some pose. And I have to do this all the time because I know the one time I don't, see, Daniel's not consistent.
So what are some of the poses?
Some of the poses, I mean, I do the sync.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I
good
do
one.
a pose. I do like a
Yeah.
little allongé.
Yeah.
I have to do it all the time now. If I don't, I'm caught. I can't do that.
I look forward to the next time I see you.
You have to be consistent on stage and in the elevator.
Can I have a show and tell moment? I know you brought a special friend,
Yeah.
and I would love to meet.
Oh, make it a
Pet. It's your pet, right?
Yes. Winnie? Okay, Win. Can you make your way over here, sweetheart? Come here. Win.
Winnie.
Winnie, come here.
Oh.
my
Oh.
Sweetheart. Oh my gosh, you are the best. Here you go.
Someone get a close up. Camera 1, camera 2.
I'll be over here. Oh my gosh. This is Winnie.
All right.
This is, so my wife and I have 3 dogs,
Oh.
and we've adopted all 3. We've had Winnie I know, for a year and a half.
Right on cue.
My wife is a huge animal rights activist and cares about animals. And so we have 3 dogs. We've adopted all 3. One from a previous building, one from ASPCA, or Humane Society, excuse me, and one from Muddy Paws here in New York.
Muddy Paws, okay, I've heard
And
that.
so the best way we could give back was giving a home. And so they rule the roost, I got to tell you. They have more furniture
Hi, Wendy.
than we do in our apartment. She's speechless.
She's so cute.
I know. She was completely emaciated about a year and a half ago, and now she's got, as you can see, clear life
great.
and the star of the show. So I brought her to work once. She
Yeah.
did pretty well. She did pretty well today. I have
We're
to
lucky
say.
to have dogs
So-
in the workplace, right?
Very much so.
it fun.
One of 3 though: Gatsby, Harry, and Winnie. Yeah.
And they'll be here for the next round of questions.
Yeah. I mean, they're a little quieter than us, but they get the job done. Into that.
Okay, Winnie, I have some questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite park? Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
She probably. Oh,
Do you
God.
want some? No.
She's smart.
I feel like this is the Zach Galifianakis show between 2 friends suddenly.
How
Have you
about
seen that one?
Yeah, I know, but how about Between Two Friends?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And cut. Look what I brought.
What is this? Is this in your dance bag?
This is in my dance bag, but I can't go anywhere without this. Roll recovery. And you go on the IT band,
Yeah.
and it hurts, and you go on the calf.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's spring loaded. So
Okay.
when you add tension to it, it exponentially increases the tension,
Okay.
and it will release the knots in your calves. And you don't have to roll out on a foam roller, which can be so annoying and painful.
Oh yeah.
And you
that,
can
that hurts too. I have one of those.
you can also walk around with it on. You know, it can be like an accessory.
That's great for TSA. I
Yeah.
can imagine
Yeah.
TSA just loving that.
So I like this thing. I've seen a lot of people with huge quads like me. They need this. You want to try it?
She's too delicate.
Not.
No, not her. She's fine.
okay.
No, I have one of those. I thought they were earphones at first.
Oh yeah. Noise canceling.
Don't.
Noise canceling. I think I'll.
No, I think you find what works, and especially something that you can do at home. How do you feel like in terms of how you've aged through the company, how you take care of yourself? How in tune are you, and how much? Again, as a seasoned dancer, I'm really self-conscious of like how my body feels is also kind of where my performance goes, or how much I can give into my performance.
Yeah.
How do you feel you've adjusted as you've gotten older?
Oh man, I think the biggest component of feeling better overall is sleep. I, as a younger dancer, had so much adrenaline after shows, and I would stay up, and I'd have fun and think that I could just keep going and roll into the next day. And I think one thing I would do differently was I'd commit to like at least 7 hours of sleep, especially in season, because your body just won't recover.
It's way too hard.
Your muscles, your brain won't be able to handle the information of the next day. I also wouldn't push too hard in my shows or in class. I think young dancers feel like there's this expectation that you have to dance 100% in class and then 150% in performances. But I actually had an injury once. It was a calf strain.
Right.
And there was no understudy for a ballet that I was doing, and I needed to go on. I had it taped, and our physical therapist, Marika Molnar, who I have total trust in, all the dancers are so lucky to be treated by, she was like, you can do this, but just don't push it. You'll be fine. And I danced 70%.
Okay.
And afterwards, Justin Peck came back and said, that's the best you've ever done it. So,
Do you think it was like you getting out of your way and going, let me just do what he needs me to do to make this choreography come to life, but not push it to a place where I'm doing more than what he's asking?
yeah, because this is an extreme art form, and you feel like you have to put your body sometimes in extreme
But I also
mode.
think as you get, sorry to interrupt, but like it's also working hard and working smart. And as you get older, I think you realize this moment I don't have to punch out at 125.
Yeah.
The step needs 80, and the next one maybe needs 125. It doesn't need 125 and 125 or 125, 150. You get dynamic range. It's like all piano music isn't written forte.
Yeah.
You have different places where you kind of come down, or acting is not all, staccato delivery. Nor the other way. So,
What did Kramarevsky say? Our teacher.
Oh, he always just say, make it easy, but take it.
Exactly.
Expensive.
And save your legs.
Save body more than money.
More than money, yeah. Is there like a go-to meal that you would eat before a really hard show?
I usually get from the deli right by work. I usually get a grilled chicken provolone on a wrap. But I don't eat 2 hours before a show.
2 hours
I
before,
I want fuel in the tank, but I got to be able to move the car.
Yeah.
You
The
know?
best show I ever had,
Where'd you go?
I had Chick-fil-A.
I knew it.
And it was actually one of your, we went on tour with your group, and I had Chick-fil-A right before doing Stars and Stripes, and I've never held my balance better in my
Seriously?
pirouette. Yeah.
It must have been the waffle fries. Yeah.
No, I don't do that all the time. That was a freak luck accident. Let's talk about props.
Props. What's your prop story?
Oh, I did this part in Harlequinade.
Yeah.
There's 3 of us, and we're robbers or something, and we have these big silver wigs and top hats and capes.
Yeah.
And we're just like whacking the floor with these like police batons that are like floppy.
Yeah.
And we were really excited. I think me and 2 other dancers, Sebastian Villarini and Austin Bachman, we were all like apprentices or first year, and it seemed like a featured role for us.
Oh.
So we went out there really with authority, and
Yeah.
mine broke in half, and I think it went into the audience. Sometimes do shoes count as props? Like specialty shoes?
Specialty shoes are definitely something a force to be reckoned with.
Have your shoes ever fallen off in a show?
Shoes have not fallen off in a show. I feel like I'll get a hole through them while I'm dancing, and then that's like getting like a flat tire.
Like you've blown out a shoe. in
blown out a
performance.
shoe. And
Whoa.
there have been a couple occasions where I thought it was going to happen, and then I'll bring a spare pair down. But I think about this like with tennis, like you got like 3 rackets, right? Like you use it for different situations, or the tension is lost. But for shoes, I've had some where I'm like, this is not going to make it, and I've got to have that spare. I occasionally had to change a couple out.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you on stage?
craziest thing that's happened to me on stage.
Or just mishap, or just like funny.
Mishap, okay, we were doing Midsummer Night's Dream years ago, and I was doing Puck. And at the very end, Puck flies. And there's 2 lines that you have to be clipped into. And my one side, my stage left side was clipped in, and my stage right side was not. So as soon as the butterflies disperse at the end, my one hip started to get lifted. So it was my left hip, sorry, because my left. And I grabbed the wire with my right hand.
Oh, yeah?
Because I would have been like,
Yeah.
like this.
But you...
And I grabbed the wire. And I tried to sell it the best that I could. And that's what happened. That's actually one was one
scary.
of the freakiest ones, but no one knew.
Yeah.
No one knew. So that was the good part. It means I covered well. But that was a little scary.
Yeah, that's scary.
That was a little scary. I remember that. I remember when we did Romeo and Juliet years ago, some of the fencing stuff with the swords. Rehearsing it or even
One
doing
time
that.
a sword flew into the air, I remember, and it went backstage, landed backstage.
Yeah. You had all kinds of stuff like that. So, props and shoes.
Live performance.
It's live performance. But what's most important is you have to be under control because then the audience will follow it.
Yeah.
So you have to be
exactly.
If you handle it well, the audience
Discreet.
will appreciate you being like keen and
Yeah.
ready to go with that.
Yeah.
What I learned about you today. What I learned about you is you're curious, and you care. You're still wanting to discover more about what you can do, what you're capable of doing. And you wanna bring people along to do that. And you want them to feel special. And as much as you're on your own journey, you care about other people's journey.
Totally. Yeah.
That's a big takeaway from today, I see. And that's younger dancers, that's our
Sharing.
colleagues.
Yeah.
And it's, and so for me, there's really talented artists, there's really wonderful people, and then there's people who you need to be that perfect combination of both that companies and generations need. And so really what I'm trying to say is we need more Harrisons. Because what we do is hard. And if you don't appreciate it, it diminishes the product. It diminishes what we're trying to do on stage.
Yeah.
And if we forget who we are doing it, then it's we kind of get that 9 to 5.
If we had more Harrisons, there would be a lot less people in rehearsal because they'd forget where they were supposed to be at what time. But thank you.
But I think that's a neat thing because the curtain goes up, and as we said today, we only see, the audience also sees that same, 10% we see people on the street with, right? So I'm hoping they get to see there's a depth and a richness there, Harrison, that we get to experience, but I want them to know about you too.
My takeaway is that you're the dancer of our generation for a reason. Again, I'm going to say it again. You're humble. You're so willing to share. You lead by example. And you're so committed. And you keep raising the bar for yourself. You've never settled. Your technique, your passion, your generosity, the way you share it with your students. I see you continuing. You have this growth mindset. And I'm so inspired by that. It feels like I have, sometimes I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I see kids, coming into the company with this fire and they have more cartilage in their knees and they just can fly. But I feel like I'm just getting started in terms of the depth and the joy and the fulfillment that I can experience, that I see, continues to drive you in your career. So
it's a long, fun game. It's a long game, though.
It's a long game, but happy to be playing it alongside you.
Yeah.
And Winnie.
Yeah? Want to take a bow? Yeah? Pas de deux? Oh, it's a pas de deux.
Yo.